Hey, Frank, are you ready to start shortly?
Sure. Where's Jaidynn?
I'm here. Can you see me?
No.
You can't see
I
me.
see
Can you hear
teddy
me?
bears.
You need the light facing you, sweetie.
There you are.
Hi.
Oh my. Can you feel a brand new day? You look gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you so much, love. I decided
my
to be a little
goodness.
10 woman.
Well, hello, everybody. How are you girls doing?
Fabulous.
Good.
You look gorge, I have to say. I want to tell people who are just tuning in, it only took 4 years and a global pandemic for me to get back on the airwaves. So thank you for waiting for this illustrious moment. I am Frank DeCaro, formerly of The Daily Show and formerly of my own Daily Show on Sirius XM for 12 years. 12 years and 100 pounds. Oh my God. Anyway, it was really fun. And so about 5 years ago, a friend of mine at Rizzoli, who became my editor and publisher, we lost Soju already, came to me and said, Frank, somebody needs to do a book on drag, and I think it should be you. And I wasn't sure that I was the right person to do it. And then I started to think about it, and it dawned on me that I am drag hag #1. Nobody likes drag more than I do. I think it's great, and I've loved it ever since I was 4 years old, and I saw Herman Munster get hit by a bolt of lightning and turn into a cocktail waitress on the Munsters. So it's been an entire life of loving drag. And so my buddy, Campy, there's the book, by the way. That's Miss Richfield, gorgeousness, holding up my book.
I've seen it.
It's very slimming if you put it close enough to the camera. See, it's good. Now I'm thin. So anyway, my friend Chad Campy, who ran the Golden Girls cruise that was so amazing that we just got off of 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we're all fine. But anyway, he said, let's do Big Wigs Live. And so we're doing Big Wigs Live, and we're welcoming some of the biggest names in the queendom, and they're here with us now. And I want to welcome each of them. It's not quite Hollywood Squares because there's only 4 squares, but still, in our lower left here, I assume we're all seeing it the same way, is, okay, she's originally from Korea, and then she moved to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, as you do, and now is Chicago-based, at least last time I checked in. We fell in love with her on a brief time on season 11 of RuPaul's Drag Race, and she puts both the soul and the cyst in Soul Sister. She is Soju. Soju, welcome to our show.
Hi everyone, 안녕하세요. This is insane. Like I've never done anything like this before, and I'm so happy to be here. And
Switch chairs real quick.
Of course. But then my nipples.
Mine too. I can show mine though. It's funny. You look beautiful. Although I don't know if some of us I don't think are wearing pants that go with it. I basically have a leopard shirt and glitter toenail polish, and that's about it right now that I can speak of.
There's nothing I'm wearing under this. As you can see, I'm naked under this.
Well, you look gorgeous in your clothes, and I'm sure out as well. All right, now in the bottom right there is I always have trouble spelling her name because I don't know where there are E's, but now I know exactly how to spell it. She hails from Nashville. She competed on season 7 of RuPaul's Drag Race. She creates costumes. She has been on Next Top Model in Germany, this Heidi Klum, and she was on the MTV Video Music Awards with Miley Cyrus, which I want to hear all about. Jaidynn Diore Fierce. Girl, you've got the realness going on there.
Thank you so much. Hey, how y'all doing? What's up?
Hey.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? I decided to be a 10 woman today. You know, just a little 10 woman fiercest with a ponytail in the back. Yes.
Well, you look beautiful. I've been telling people that when this whole thing is kind of over, we're going to have to be singing that song "Brand New Day" that I was singing before from the Wiz. That's going to be, we're all going to come out of our shells, and I'm following you wherever you go in your Tin Woman outfit. Now, in the top right corner, is that the Rosemary Square? It might be. Someone
Could be Paul Lynn.
Paul, you could be, yes, be that. If you, whatever. Okay, not only is she a Richfield, Minnesota native, she was Richfield Citizen of the Year at least once, I know, in 2015, probably more than once. She plays a musical saw. She is the toast of Provincetown and from coast to coast, and then not even on the coast, at sea, Miss Richfield, 1981.
Yes.
In our Pauline spot. You can have, we're in quarantine. You can do whatever you want. All I got to do is shave and take a shower. So God love the three of you for doing this. And I'm thrilled and delighted.
Well,
so
I'm not wearing any makeup, so.
but the natural look suits you though. You look nice. And it's
Pretty.
and what's good is your stage show is as understated as you are. So it's beautiful.
Thank you for noticing. And don't forget the tambourine.
There's always that. So usually I have sort of questions that I'm itching to always ask, when we start these things. But because it's such a bizarre situation right now, you chirped. There we go. Okay, get that. We need to later on. I want you to tip enough so Jaidynn can get batteries for her smoke alarm. Okay, this is
absolutely. Y'all know we going through this whole
because
pandemic.
I keep thinking it's mine, and I'm like, is it mine or Jaidynn?
And I want to buy a bigger tambourine.
Okay.
The last thing I need is a house fire at this time.
Okay, well we'll keep it hot, but not too hot. All right, so let me ask you a question. Soju, tell me, what's the quarantine been like for you? What have you been up to?
I've been watching a lot of movies, catching up on a lot of Korean dramas. I've been actually watching RuPaul's Drag Race because I have after I did my season, I stopped watching. But then I had time, so I'm watching this season and a lot of porn. A lot of porn.
It's free now. Pornhub is free, so God love them for that.
I
They're
feel like
donating masks. They're doing everything a pornographer should do at a time like this.
yeah, I feel like porn sites, Netflix, and then Animal Crossing, like that game. I just been obsessed. Nintendo Switch has saved my life.
I am so old. I don't know any of what you just said. But
I have no idea.
Miss
Can I
Richfield, what
get
have you
that
been up
with
to?
dial-up? Can I get it with dial-up? I just want to know.
You just have to.
What have your days been like, Miss Richfield?
Oh, my word. Well, was sort of looking forward to cleaning out the trailer. But it hasn't worked out that way because I've been doing Bingo Bonanza. And so we've been doing Bingo Bonanza 2 times a week on Mondays and Thursdays. And it's been a joy to do, but like everything else, you think it's going to be easy and, like you've got tons of time, but it's a lot of work. So there's a team of 5 of us it takes to put that thing on. But it's been really fun. It's been a wonderful thing, and it just feels good to do something, because I've been, catching up on Ozark. That's my thing, which is pretty amazing. But, once you see the last episode of that, what are you going to do, So I've been working on Bingo Bonanza, getting that all fine-tuned so people can play at home. Oh my gosh, my cat's here. This is Lewis.
Hi, Lewis.
Yeah, he likes. He's
we
not
had to have
camera
the cat
shy.
put away. So the dog. Our dog is in her box. We had to just get her and put her in her box because she only talks while I'm talking.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
It's payback for all those years on the radio when I talked to
Totally.
my co-host, definitely. Jaidynn, what have you been up to other than not changing the batteries? What's going on with you?
Right, I got some things to do and some batteries to change. That ain't the only batteries that I need to change. I've been eating, sleeping, being even more obese, and getting pregnant, but social distancing at the same time. Don't ask me how that works out. It just does.
Also, Jaidynn, when did they send you that trophy?
I can't tell. Mother can't tell. Yes, actually, they did. I'm just saying. Yeah, this is my elimination trophy. Yeah,
I didn't get one. None of us got one.
Oh, y'all got yanked.
Well, I got a lawnmower when I got the crown Miss Richfield 1981. They gave me a lawnmower. I feel like I got something. You know, it was a beauty contest.
I live in LA, so I don't need a lawnmower, but I want my trophy. I might have to go to Hollywood and go to World of Wonder and just steal one myself.
Yeah, don't steal mine, sis. We're gonna fight over this one.
I can't believe they didn't
from
give
Drag
you
Race.
one. They didn't give you a trophy?
No, I thought everyone.
No, they
You
actually like.
bastard.
Yeah. On set, it looks like we take it home, but we don't. Ooh, spoiler alert!
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we
Are
have to,
you
I have to put
serious?
mine right back on the shelf.
Oh, no. That's maybe do they lend them to you or something? I mean, at least the Oscars, you get to take yours home. You can't sell it, but you at least get it, and they
Yeah.
I literally got a package one day, and I was like, I didn't even order anything online, and it was a box, and I was like, oh, what is this? And I opened it up, and I was like, the RuPaul maquette. You know, now a little inside secret: the poor maquette has been damaged multiple times till I knocked her over, and Miss RuPaul fell to the ground and broke it to a million pieces. But there ain't nothing a little hot glue and a little there ain't nothing a little hot glue will fix. You know,
That's
hire
very
some drag queen's best friend.
And
I
you
was
have
gonna
to
say,
tell, you have to remind us all, when were you, what seasons were you, what year?
I was season 7. What year was that?
Yeah, what
Ooh,
year was
child,
it?
I lost time. Sister, what year was that I left for filming? 2015?
2015.
Okay. 2014 is when I left to film. 2015 is when it aired. So
Right,
it's
and
been
season 11.
a lot of years.
Soju was season
Wow.
11.
Yeah, mine
So
was.
I don't have a trophy, but I do have this darling bobblehead. Hello.
That's so cute.
Isn't it darling? They're
Yeah.
for sale if you want to buy one.
Where,
Well,
they
It's
tend to
like
call
that
it a
trophy
bobblehead
you're
as
going to have to
well.
buy. You have to buy this.
Well, I have HR Puffin stuff on my desk, so
You do. Mwah. Let's have them kiss.
I have a trophy
Mwah.
myself.
Mwah. What do you
oh,
have?
that's good. Soju's ready, girl. You're ready.
Oh dear.
That's good. I'm very, very proud of you.
I'm
So,
going to have to explain this to my pastor, I think. Oh, God, the cat's protecting me. All right. The cat's covering the screen, so I can't see it. All right.
because with Tiger King, the cat is helping our ratings. We're doing very well. Keep the cat in the screen. It's we're
Oh,
doing
the old
quite well.
puss. Yes.
So let me ask each of you this. What is the absolute first person, either a cross-dressing actor or a drag queen or a drag king or whoever, that you remember seeing? So, Miss Richfield, who was for you?
I was gonna say, let's start with me because it was just after the war. So mine's first. The one that I first saw was Dame Edna. And really, I saw her. I just was coming to terms with, liking boys, because I thought maybe I should like girls, but it turns out I like guys. So I was dealing with that. And I was working actually volunteering at an AIDS hospice. And one of the guys who was in the hospice tuned me in. He wanted to watch the evening that I was volunteering. He wanted to watch Dame Edna on public TV because that's where she was when she first came to the United States, on the BBC, which was on our public TV. So she was my first one, and wow, what an influence she had in my life. She's amazing, just a real gifted. It was wonderful to see that first. Dear God, there goes the cat. It was wonderful to see that first. And then, of course, I started going to bars and things like that, but that's before I even went to bars.
And your presence on stage is very, you can give Dame Edna a run for her money. I mean, your
I don't know
interaction.
about that. She's pretty
Your
good.
interaction with the audience is brilliant, I have to say. You
Well,
really.
I have a lot of fun with that, and one of the things I enjoy is I enjoy visiting with people in the audience, and I enjoy just getting that challenge of meeting people and trying to deal with the information that they give you is kind of a fun thing. If you get tired of your show, you've always got that to look forward to.
Definitely. And the audience eats it up, and the more you sort of tickle them and tease them, and you're not too mean to
I
them,
have
but you tickle
I
them
have
a little.
wonderful audiences. I have very nice audiences. Old patient people.
And you held, and the night I was there, you held up my book, which made me pop my buttons.
Yes,
it wasn't just that I was
I'll do it
overeating.
again.
Why, there it is, drag coming through the big wigs of show business. And just for that, wait a minute. Venmo tips to Miss Richfield at Miss Richfield. There
Pay
you go.
attention.
I have one of those for each of us, so we'll definitely do that. But that was my
Thank you,
little.
Frank.
Thank you there. Now, Jaidynn, who is the first drag performer or cross-dressing actor or anything along those lines that you remember seeing?
It was probably either my drag auntie Nicole Ellington Dupre, which at the time she was my drag auntie, or Sarah Andrews. It was one of the two. I remember walking into the bar. So I didn't even recognize, okay, call me foolish, but I didn't even recognize that it was just a drag show, because obviously I was just a closeted queen. So I just kind of walked in and I'm just kind of watching. I'm like, oh, there are women performing on stage. Okay. And I just kind of like didn't understand it and just, kept watching. And then over the time, the time frame, I was just kind of like, wait a minute, like, oh, it's a drag show. And then the princess came out and she got on the mic and I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. So I'm walking into a drag show, and that was my very first, it was actually right after I graduated from high school. And I was just like, okay, I'm 18 now. My friend Travis said, oh, well, we're gonna go out to the gay club. And I was like, okay. But the crazy thing is I didn't just expect it. I had never been there before. I had never been to a drag show, didn't know what was happening, what was going on. And honestly, I was just kind of, what's the word without sounding, I just was I wasn't uncomfortable with it. It was just very new to me. Like I was kind of like, I don't understand what's going on. And it wasn't until years after being hired. I was later on hired at the bar as a lighting designer. That's a whole nother story. And that's when I began to look at the art of drag and actually look at it in a different light, instead of it being like, oh, wow, girls are just twirling. Like, I just didn't get it at first when I first saw my first drag show. I didn't really understand.
Was this in Nashville?
Yeah. Yes, this was in Nashville. This was in 2007.
Where in Nashville? What bar?
Play.
I love Play.
Oh yeah, I
worked
used to
at
work
Play
there.
one time. What a great place, huh?
It does.
Yeah,
Nashville.
Oh, I thought people were so nice down south. Those southern, so
It's a very nice bar. I just don't work there anymore. I got my reason.
But does Nashville have a thriving drag scene?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. There are so many talented drag queens here in Nashville, and honestly, like it's it's kind of a pageant city in a way. They have a lot of pageant. US of A tends to have prelims here in the past. Of course, Continental has prelims here in the past. So it's kind of a pageant city, and that's kind of like what I didn't see my first pageant until a few months in, and I didn't even know what a pageant was truly about. Like growing up for me, I wasn't sheltered, but I was sheltered in the way of gay culture, if that makes sense. So I didn't really get the chance to look into it or understand it. There wasn't RuPaul's Drag Race. I couldn't just turn on my TV and turn on RuPaul's Drag Race.
What year was that you started to first get introduced to it?
Well, 2007 was when I first saw my first drag show. Okay. And then I got hired on as a lighting designer and technician in 2008. So that's when I began to do lighting and programming for the dance floor and the show bar. And just over time, as I began to watch more drag shows, that's when I was like, you know what? I really like this. Like, I didn't understand it at first because it just wasn't a thing that I ever thought of. But I was like, wow, like these girls are really putting everything they have into a package and putting it on stage. And that's when I really began to be like, oh, wow, like this is something that I like. And that's kind of how I like got interested in doing it. But it was actually Halloween night. My first drag name originally was Mistake, and boy did I look like a mistake. And I looked a hot mess. Ain't that cute? Don't steal my name now. Don't name your drag name.
I was going to say, that's what I love so much about drag performers is you really do bring everything the way old-fashioned entertainers did. I mean, you'll do anything to give that crowd a good time. And that's why I tip my wiglet to you guys. I think you're amazing. I really do. Soju, who was the first drag performer or cross-dressing actor that you remember seeing?
I started watching drag. I learned about drag through my ex-boyfriend, who had me watch RuPaul's Drag Race during my college years, and that was season 5. But then I went back and watched all the other seasons. And then I was in Vancouver. I went to UBC, University of British Columbia, and then at it was Manila Luzon. That was my first drag queen I ever saw. Manila Luzon. And I remember I went to go see her. I was obsessed with her because she's also an Asian queen, and there wasn't a lot of Asian queens in general. So it was weird because she finished her performance, and I guess this was like before Drag Race became like a huge thing. So she finished her performance and she was just standing by the bar, like nobody was bothering her. Like these days, like people would be crowding anyone.
Yeah.
And so like I kind of like went up to her and I was like, hi, I just want to say that I watched your season and I'm such a big fan. And then she's like, she had a fan, and then she's like, do you do drag? And I was like, no. And then she like she went like this with her fan, and she's like, you got a face for drag. And I was like, what? Really?
Wow.
And then she's like, but you got a big head, so you need 2 wigs.
Well, she's not afraid to say what's on her mind. We know that.
No, I mean, like, I didn't know that, like the drag queens, like their persona and stuff. Like, I never met a drag queen before. So for me, I was just like so fascinated by how outspoken they are and how like there's no filter. And especially back then, like there was no filter. And I actually really enjoyed that. I felt like they were always pushing the boundary. And I didn't start drag until I went back to Chicago after I graduated. And it's funny.
What year was that?
That was, I started drag 2015?
Oh.
2015?
Not that long ago. That's when I bought these pantyhose.
I can smell it. Yeah.
That's why my eyes are watering.
Watch them tights in.
It's funny. It's funny that Jaidynn was talking about Sarah Andrews and the Princess and stuff, because when I started drag in Chicago, they were always there. Like Sarah Andrews was always performing, and the Princess came up to. I guess she lived in Chicago before, or like.
Yeah, she did.
So she would always come. So I learned drag watching them, and so it's so weird that how all of us are like somehow connected. It's crazy.
I was going to say before, when we were talking about things that they'll say, the first time I saw Manila Luzon, she said, I love cats, but I can't eat a whole one. It was the line that she said on stage. So Miss Richfield, cover your cat's ears. Don't let her hear that.
Yeah. Look who's coming. Yeah. Now look what you've done.
Joke, but about dogs.
Now look what you've done.
Sorry about that. Miss Richfield, I know you're back there behind the cat.
Hello.
Yeah, there you are. I know your origin story, but I don't know if other people do. How did Miss Richfield 1981 come to be?
Wow. Actually, it was a beauty contest in Richfield, Minnesota, because I do usually open by saying a happy Heidi Ho from the friendly citizens and responsible merchants in Richfield, which is my hometown in Minnesota, where butter is a spice and gravy's a beverage. And I had a beauty pageant that I attended and that I won, and that's when I won the crown and the sash and the power lawnmower in that beauty contest.
Good.
And it was really spectacular. It was really, really a fun experience. And I have to say, one of the things I love about it, because I, like you, didn't like it at first. I went to the taverns and I saw the fellows, and I felt like, if you want to be a girl, be a girl. If you want to be a boy, be a boy. I mean, that's how I felt. Now I'm an old lady, so this was back in the 20s when we couldn't show our ankles, so just bear with me. So, but I really felt the same way. I felt like it was a bad representation of men. I was embarrassed. That's what the papers and the news media always showed in gay pride. And I thought, oh, that's not me. That's not me. And I really did. I felt like it was a terrible embarrassment. And it took me a long time to kind of realize that was self-hatred. I just hated myself. I was embarrassed for me. It had nothing to do with anyone else. It was about me. And so I had to come to terms with myself. And that, that was a lot. Dear God.
See, and I looked at drag queens, and I don't do drag, and I was like, oh my God, that's me. I did feel the opposite of that. I was like, that's me inside. That's
no one's
me.
really surprised. Hang on, I gotta go get the cat.
All right, now I'm going to keep making my way around. Jaidynn, you were telling me that, and we alluded to it before, that you started as a lighting person. And what made you, was it the I can do this moment, or what was it that made you think, I've got to do this?
Away from that, okay.
To decide to do drag?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you meant lighting or drag.
No, drag.
They had an open stage night every Sunday night. And, me and my friends, we used to do a style of dance called J-setting, which is a very feminine style of dance. And that's what we used to do. Well, they started banning it on the dance floor there because they wanted people to dance and not watch us. So I had really not much to do but to watch the drag show. So that's when I just really began to just like fully watch it and get into it. I watched my very first pageant, and I was like, you know what, there's open stage. My friends were like, oh, you should do it. And I was like, no, I know how to dance, but I was like, no, I don't think I want to do that. And they're like, come on, just one time, like do open stage, get up there, like just one time. I said, okay, well, if I do it, like, it's not going to be a regular thing. It's not going to be, anything like that. I'll just get up there and do it. Well, for some reason, they had just like stopped the amateur competition, and then they were having like these auditions as well for their Sunday night cast. They were changing things up, and so I went up there. Oh my God, I thought I was Beyonce, but I looked a hot rookie to boogie foo mess. Oh, I looked a hot. Not that I looked
Beyonce,
but
Beyonce.
But anyways, I got up there on stage, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna do this one little show, and if you got through the audition, you got to perform in front of like everybody. So I did my little audition or whatever, and people were like, oh my God, this big girl knows how to move. Granted, I looked the fool. So I got to perform that night, and after that night, I've always been a performer at heart. After that night, even though I said, even if I made the cast, I wasn't gonna do it, I literally was hooked. Like, I literally was hooked because I was able to go up there and be myself and do my thing, and to hear the crowd just scream over this morbidly obese, gorgeous, well, I wasn't that gorgeous then, giant, that really, it really sold me. So, and ever since then, I've been like learning and growing, and I did a few pageants, 4 pageants. I won 3 out of the 4, so I was good. And yeah, now look at me, a flaming homosexual in a Tin Woman costume.
Look at the rest of us.
Lion. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it. I'll do it for you. Soju, now, how important was that moment with the "You've Got a Face for Drag" with Manila? I mean, did that actually get you the moment to say, "I'm going to go do this"?
No, at that time I was like still very like, oh, I'm gay, but I'm not that gay kind of person.
We all go through that, sis.
I came out a little late. Like I was 21 when I came out, so I didn't feel like I was like going to do drag. But it was nice that she said that. I didn't feel like it until Chicago, and I went to one of Tranica Rack's show, and she runs like a Saturday show called Drag Matinee in Chicago at Berlin Nightclub, and I was watching it, and that's when I started feeling like, okay, this is not, guys just dressing up as girls. This is more than that. This
art. It's art.
And I was in a cappella. I was an oil painting. Like I did all these artistic things. But then like at that time, my job was a taekwondo master. So I was teaching martial arts. So I didn't get to really fulfill this need for doing arts. And then I was like, you know what? Let me try drag. And then I realized that I need a drag mother, and I hunted down this Asian drag queen named Kimura Hall, who's a beautiful, beautiful Chicago queen. And she basically taught me for a month. I like followed her around. she has the heaviest, like the breastplates and stuff. So like I was carrying her luggages. I just wanted to see every single part of being a drag queen. So that's how I learned it for a month. And then on Halloween, I came out as Soju. And it was interesting because at that time, I think Kimchi filmed her season and came back at that time. And I think she performed that night and then went home. And then I came to the club afterwards. So everyone thought that Kimchi came back to party. So literally, Sarah Andrew, she was talking to me for 10 minutes straight. And I was like, wow, she's really interested in this. Like, I'm just a baby queen. Like, she's really interested. And then afterwards, she goes, oh my God, Kimchi, let's take a picture. And I'm like, I was like, whoa, no, I'm not getting girl. But I took that as a compliment, and I was like, maybe I am pretty good at this. So I just kept doing it. And afterwards, Trinica was like, you know what, I want you to compete on my competition, Crash Landing. I did that like 2 months after. And then Shea Coulee was like, I want you to come film this art video. It was called Lipstick City. It's this beautiful artistic video. And she wanted me to be part of it. And I was just like, it just kept going. It was basically nonstop after that Halloween day. It was nonstop gigs or videos. And then a year and a half after, I got on Drag Race. So it's like I didn't really have time to kind of like even enjoy being a baby queen. Like I just had to keep going. Yeah.
Didn't you used to review Drag Race before you got on?
Yeah, so I had a YouTube, well, I still do have a YouTube show called Shot with Soju. And basically, I had a really close connection because I worked with Berlin Nightclub and Roscoe's. And Roscoe's bring all the Rue girls. So Sean, who's the general manager of Roscoe's, was like, you know, you can do Shot with Soju up in because the upstairs is where the girls change, like a whole floor. And they were like, if the girls want to do it, then you can do it. So I would get the schedule of like the girls that are coming into town, and I would message them, and I'll be like, hey, I filmed Shot with Soju. At the time, there was Hey Queen and Shot with Soju. There was no other drag queens that were doing YouTube channels. So they were like, most of the queens were like, yeah, let's do it. And I got to talk to all of the idols that I always looked up to, like Detox and Alaska. They were fantastic. Valentina, Alyssa Edwards, everybody. And then Drag Race really liked it, I guess, and they featured it on Drag Race when I came out.
Did you think, oh, this is a great way to get on Drag Race, or did you not think you would be doing it?
No, oh my God, I did not think I was gonna get on Drag Race at all. I auditioned for fun and I got on, but I did Shot with Soju because I was watching Hey Queen and I liked Hey Queen, but I'm Korean and I really like Korean entertainment. And I wanted to do a talk show that is more like heavily like Korean editing style and make them eat Korean food, take Korean take Korean alcohol, soju, like take shots and
right.
put them in a position where like we haven't seen them before, because I wanted to see that. And so that's why I started doing it. I didn't do it because I wanted to get on Drag Race. That was like, I didn't think I would ever get on Drag Race. Yeah.
Jaidynn, how did it happen that you got on Drag Race? What was the process like?
Well, it was, I remember when I first saw Drag Race, I think it was season 3 when I first saw it. It was like 2 or 3. I was still living in the house with my mom, and I'm just scrolling through, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, this is a drag show? Like, I had no idea, never seen an advertisement. And I was like, oh, wow, I really, really, really like this show. And I always used to, it was funny because, I was closeted at the time. So I always used to sneak and watch it. But I'll be listening by the stairs to make sure my mom wasn't coming upstairs or like, oh my God. But yeah, so I started watching it. And then I remember season 4, I was like, you know what? I can do this. I need some time to work on myself and, continue sewing and, everything. And I was like, you know what? I can do this. I want to audition. So season 5, 6, and 7, I auditioned all 3 of those years. And just over time, season 5, I didn't hear anything back at all. Season 6, I started getting emails from producers and everything. And then they were pretty much like, they sent me through the whole application process. And then, yeah, they told me, well, we'll let you know on Monday. At that time, I had a corporate job during the day. I got a call from them and they told me, hey, unfortunately, you didn't make it on. And I literally took a break at work because I was broken, because I really thought I was going to be on season 6. But they said, hey, we liked your audition tape. We see that you're growing every year. So just audition next year. So I was like, okay. And of course, I auditioned for season 7 and went through the whole thing. I wasn't sure. I just threw in a tape. I actually hated my season 7 audition tape. I didn't have time. I was very overworked. I was working 60 hours a week. I didn't have time, but I just threw it in anyways. And then that's when I got the call that I was on Drag Race, and I could not believe it. So I was really excited. I'm like, oh my God, yes, I'm excited. And then instantly I got like really depressed because I was like, wait, I don't have any money. Like, I'm making money to pay the bills, but like, this is a lot. And granted, I sew everything myself. So I maxed out all of my credit cards and all my credit lines just to buy fabric. And then literally I took my vacation time off of work and I just sat there and I just started sewing every single day, trying to get these looks together for Drag Race. So it was a tough process, but that was how I got on the show. 3 years. Well, the 3rd year was a charm for me.
Well, I love it. And it's true. Now, Ms. Richfield, I'm going to ask you a question next, but we've been getting requests for this. So I'm going to do this now. If you would like to tip Jaidynn Fierce, you would do it here, and it would be at Jaidynn Fierce. Now, see the way that's spelled? Okay.
It's the hood spelling. I'm sorry. I come from the hood.
Okay, so you spell it that way. Now, if you want to tip Soju, it's shot with Soju. Okay, you can do that. So Venmo Soju. If you would like to tip Miss Richfield, guess where you do it? At Miss Richfield. Isn't that rocking? So you can do it. And if you like your host, you can Venmo me at Boy Phyllis, okay? Which is my first book, Boy Phyllis. BOYPHYLLIS. Mama's got to eat. So thank you for doing that. What you don't know, and you are going to want to tip later on too, the girls are going to each do a number, I believe. I think that's what I heard. So we'll definitely.
Are we?
Sure. If you don't want it, you don't have to. If you don't want, you could crochet, and we'll watch, and we'll say whatever works for you. We will do it. Because Soju, you can not only work a runway, you can also work nunchucks. So you do whatever you want, because I'm not going to mess with you with that. Miss Richfield, I got a question for you. What you truly are drag royalty, not just because you're wearing your beautiful crown, but people love you from coast to coast, and they have for a good while, and well, they should. I mean, you're absolutely terrific on stage.
Wow, you're very kind, Frank. Thank you. I appreciate my fans so much. I really do.
What has the mainstreaming of drag that RuPaul's Drag Race has brought about meant to your career, even though you've not been on the show? Although we see you in the Orbits commercial, so it's like you're on the show.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know what's interesting, Frank, is you were asking about the origins, and I was joking around a little bit. My real beginnings were back in 95 and 96, when these other two gals were not even probably, I'm sure they were a thought at that point. But anyway, were you alive in 1995? I don't know. You're probably born.
Don't answer, please. It's upsetting to find this out.
91.
Anyway,
we were
they're
bitter
both so
before we were
lovely.
born.
They're both lovely. I'm sure they're going to be lovely for years, but they're lovely now, that's for sure. And I started in 95, actually, and then 96, just for fun, and I was in a gay pride parade with the Minnesota AIDS Project. And I actually worked for the Minnesota AIDS Project for many years, and did work with them, and was able to start performing. You know, I've always been pretty, but I started performing at the Gay 90s in Minneapolis. And then I did that for just a few months, and got the opportunity. And Frank, that's where I got the opportunity to actually talk, because one of the MCs had to be gone for an evening, and he said, well, would you step in for me? And so then I suddenly had to have a voice, and I had to stand up there and visit and so forth. And that's really the gay 90s. I do have to tip my hat to them and thank them, and the wonderful people there, Dee Richards and my friends Roxy Marquis and CeCe Russell, and people who just really taught me, Camille Collins, people who taught me what it means, you know. And I don't have a drag mother because I'm, you know, she would be dead, whoever she gone. She'd be like, you know, long before Corona, she would have been gone. And so, I don't have no, but I do have people like you girls mentioned who are really instrumental in my life and helpful. And then my friend Mark Addix, who is a wonderful, he worked for General Mills, and he and I worked on the AIDS walk together, and he helped me come up with the show. So I began to work at the Bryant Lake Bowl, which was a bowling alley, a restaurant, and a little cabaret space. It was beautiful. And I'm so blessed to have, like you girls, you know, have people who help me, who just took time, you know, didn't get paid, you know, didn't do anything. They just were nice. They just helped. And God knows I would not have gotten anywhere without help. And then I started traveling with Atlantis Events in 1999. They saw me perform at a cabaret here for the International Gay and Lesbian Travel Association. And so Rich Campbell, I have to tip my hat to him too. That's another huge thing for me, and brought me onto a national scale, which you were talking about. Suddenly I had people from all over the country who knew me because I came on these cruises and these resorts. And that will start up again at some point. A lot of that's been canceled, but we'll get back on that. And then Provincetown was the third place I wanted to mention that's been so good to me. I started at the Crown and Anchor with Rick Murray, and I went over to the Art House, and our friend Mark Bartali runs the Art House now. And now I'm at the Pilgrim House with Ken Horgan and David Burbank and the gang. And it's just, Provincetown has been so good to me, and they're going through a tough time right now. The virus has even hit the tip of the Cape, and so they're really in, you know, they don't want people to come, and I don't blame them, and we're all staying away. But we really have our fingers crossed that we'll be able to, you know, show up at some point during the summer and, you know, pick up where we left off and spread the joy. And I don't know how many of you have been to P-Town. Frank has, but it's a beautiful place. It's a magical place.
I've always wanted to go. I've heard great things.
Oh, you haven't been?
No, I never.
Oh, you have to come and visit. Yeah.
Isn't it
Come
really
perform.
expensive to get there?
Yeah, we have a lot of the RuPaul girls come through. Mm-hmm.
Right. No, I always wanted to go there and Fire Island.
Oh yeah, Fire Island's really fun too. Yes, Frank would know about Fire Island.
Yes, I've been to both, and I love them both for different.
Yeah, they're very different.
I was going to say I love them. Provincetown is one of those places I think of as just a magical place.
It's
now because of being in Provincetown. I mean, are more people coming to see drag because of Drag Race? Even if
you were mentioning about mainstream. You were mentioning about mainstream, and I have to say, you know, at first. You know, to be quite honest with you, when the whole RuPaul Drag Race came, and you know, suddenly you know, there's just tons of these really talented, beautiful people. You know, it's frightening because you know you're thinking, holy criminy, you know, these girls are beautiful, and they're very talented, and suddenly there's a million of them. You know, what is there, like 15 every season or something? And so at first it was very alarming to me. And then once I began to, and so your question's very timely, once I began to realize like, oh, this is such a good thing. Thank you, RuPaul. Thank you for bringing this onto television in just a format that, you know, a lot of us tried to get on TV years ago and it didn't work. And I'm glad it worked out this way because it's just wonderful to have drag be so, you know, accepting kids, families. It's wonderful to see. And I think it's really going to change our world. I really do. I think it's going to change how our kids, you know, kids are the future and the kids are just embracing this. Can you imagine when they're all adults, you know, and they're having kids and how wonderful the world's going to be.
I love that the hashtag all drag is valid. I love that because I think that that's kind of where we're at now.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what you're packing. It just matters how much entertainment you've got going on. And I have to say, your age doesn't matter. Nothing matters as long as when that curtain opens, you're entertaining. I mean, I think that's a very exciting thing. Jaidynn, let me ask you: How did being on RuPaul change your life?
It changed it so much. Literally before Drag Race, I've never been out of the country. I didn't have a passport. I've only traveled domestically, and I've only been on a flight once in my life, like on a big airplane. Went to a little airplane camp in like 7th grade. But outside of that, I've only been on like a big commercial jet only once in my life. And that was to go to nationals in Dallas for US of A pageant system. And literally like to fly so many flights and to go overseas, and it's kind of intimidating at times, like especially when you first start out. Like most of the time, most of the girls travel on their own, so it's it gets kind of like intimidating because it's just like I am literally out of the country by myself. I don't know anyone, but at the same time, it was very exhilarating. And the reason is because when I was on cast at the bar here in Nashville, it literally, you see a lot of the same people because you have your regulars, the same people who love you, support you, and tip you, but it's a whole different story. It changes like that when you look out into a crowd and you don't recognize a single soul. Like no one like knows, but at the same time, you get the outpour of love. Like, and I think that changed my life more than anything. I've got to go to, like I said, Australia, the UK multiple times. And it's just to be able to travel and go to like Mexico and Canada and these places that I've never imagined that I would be able to, you know, just afford to go, just to be able to go and experience these things and meet these people. You know, it has been the biggest blessing of my life. But at times like this is kind of scary because now this is my only income. Well, our only income for most of the girls. So for me, I literally have already gotten like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of shows just canceled. And this is the scary part, that, you know, it's always something unexpected, you know, because it's like, it's like, oh, I got all this drag. I'm ready to perform, but I can't. I got a social distance from y'all. So, you know, it's had a lot of ups and downs. So, but it's been the biggest blessing in my life. Like, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I want to just hold this up then. I have to do this definitely so people will see, to Venmo tips to at Jaidynn Fierce on Venmo. There you go. See, take a look at that. You can definitely do that because it's tough out there for a glamour puss. Okay, so there's that. And there's Soju, shot with Soju. Okay, you can do that. And Miss Richfield. There you go. And contrary to popular belief, authors do not make any money. So there you go. So you can
that is true.
Mother needs to keep that pantry stocked with dog bones for the little dog. So anyway, it's very, very true. Soju, have you been back to Korea since you've become an international sensation?
Yeah, I actually performed in Korea before I got on Drag Race because of Shot with Soju. And it's crazy because that was the first time I've been back to Korea as like coming out and going back to Korea. And it was a little bit weird because I didn't, you know, like I know that Korean people are not really open to, and they're very conservative. So I didn't really think that there were going to be a lot of people at the show. And it was mostly international people because there's a district in Korea called Itaewon, which is the international district, and that's where all the gay bars are and stuff. But it's still like in this little back alley, like, and it's so dark, like you really can't tell there's anything there. It's called Homo Hill, and but it was surprising that like so many Korean people came out to see me, and it was such a weird but like great experience. I didn't think I would ever be in Korea performing, and then I went to Japan to perform. It's crazy that like I was on Drag Race and I didn't do that well. I got sent home first, yet I still get this love and support from my fans, and you know, people want to see me perform, and I still get to do the traveling. I still get to experience the full effect of being a Ru girl, which is I'm so blessed, and I wouldn't like she said, I wouldn't trade it for anything, and like right now, because a lot of my gigs are local gigs that are like weekly gigs, and that being canceled, that's the hardest thing, that the weekly gigs that get canceled, it might not be thousands of dollars, but it's still that's what I look forward to doing, and that's what pay the bills. So just losing that is just crazy. I remember the Friday that I was supposed to do the viewing party, and I was fully in drag and ready to go, and the club owner was like, yeah, we're gonna have to cancel it. And then I'm like, oh shoot! Like I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna?
Yeah.
And then I didn't think this was gonna go on for this long, and yeah, it's crazy.
And I think that's the worst part of it, is just not knowing. I mean, the anticipation of where are we going? And this uncharted territory. Nobody knows when the heck we're gonna all come out of this.
And then,
and like I think with the gigs too, like some of them, obviously, like, nightclubs, your local gigs and stuff, most of that stuff is going to come back instantly. But there were like college gigs, because another thing that was amazing that I didn't even really know that was as popular as it is so many colleges have drag shows. But now, and those are pretty good paying gigs for some of the girls. But those, I mean, everybody's out of school now, pretty much, at least the college that I was going to perform at, which was called Utica, which is in, I think it's Buffalo, New York or something,
outside of Syracuse.
Like that, that was the mortgage payment plus more, it's just like, yes, and then it's canceled.
How about
Frank, should we take some questions?
One question I wanted to ask. Yes. I wanted to ask Soju, what does your name mean? What is that? Is it South Korean or Korean name?
Yeah, Soju is like sake, but Korean. So
Alcohol.
Okay.
Korean rice like alcohol.
Okay.
But it's like it's pretty good. You should try it. But like I was gonna say, like with DragCon, I already spent thousands of dollars like for outfits for DragCon and for merch. So the fact that DragCon's not even postponed, but it's canceled. Last year, DragCon, I made enough money to just kind of like set me for the rest of the summer. So I was like, I was actually looking forward to that, because and another thing is I get to meet my fans. Like, I don't get to do a lot of tours like with the other girls, obviously, because being placed like my place, like I don't get to join a lot of tours, and like DragCon is a way for me to like meet my fans and get to show people like how much I have grown since my season. So like not being able to do that, I'm just like, well,
I was gonna say, no, I want to think, I'm assuming that we're all doing this for a number of reasons. Yes, the tips would be swell. Doing online stuff for money, great, we love it. But I think if I know anything about drag performers, I feel like you're all rising to the occasion of cheering people up. And I think that's I feel that myself as a comedian and a writer. I feel like, well, the least I can do is come up with a funny post or a great photo or something like this. And it's, it's not hard to do. It's just, it's fun. I mean, I don't have to get dressed the way you gorgeous girls do, but it's like the call to be a funny gay is there, and we're like, yeah, I can cheer you up and do my damnedest to make you feel a little bit better. And I'm wondering if you agree that's one of the reasons you'll take time on a weeknight to paint up and look as gorgeous as you do and do this. Is that a good? I mean, is it to stay in touch with your fans and cheer them up?
It's something that I've always done in the past. Like people call me the social media queen because I've done YouTube. I was bigger on Instagram like before my season and stuff like that. So I'm used to this kind of drag, like doing this. Like I'm used to this. But yeah, like I do feel like I have some kind of a job, where I need to entertain people still. And like that's why I'm coming out with my new song on Friday. And some of my friends were like, maybe you should postpone it so that, you know, things get better. I'm like, no, I think this is like the perfect time to do it because everyone's home and this is a fun song and everyone, you know, if it can cheer people up a little bit with the music, then, you know, it just makes me feel better.
Now, are there some questions that we can be asked?
Yes, if you have a question, write it in the chat, either in Facebook or in the Zoom chat, and then I will read it out. You can ask.
As long as we don't have to read it, because then we'd have to change glasses.
Yep. Type out your question, and I will. If it's somebody in Zoom, I can maybe even make you live. I don't know how that works, but we'll figure that out.
Well, ask Mitch Richfield. Get her permission for this. I don't think you should just invite her in. Let her decide if it's going to be okay.
And also, we can promo next week while we're waiting for anybody.
Yes.
Doing next week. Yeah, go for it.
You want to say it or should I tell you?
You should.
Okay, next week we're going to do this at the same time, and if I remembered what day of the week this is, I would say it's Wednesday, right? Okay, next Wednesday at 6 Eastern, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern. Yes, did I get it right? I think I got it right. I'm going to be joined, but wait till you hear this trio: Nina West, Ginger Minge, and Lucy Stool. And we all know about Lucy Stool. So it will. So we're very excited. And going forward, we have a lot of big names. And if you looked in The Advocate, I posted it all over social media. We have many guests coming up. Tammy Brown is going to join us. And she hasn't said yes, but I'm going to throw her name out there and say that Miss Coco Peru has to do this. Or
definitely.
Spit food. I will if she doesn't want to do this. So one of the questions that I saw that just came in, what other things can people watch you online? Where can people see you during this time of this entertainment-starved moment in our quarantine?
Well, I'll start because I'm sitting with my very own Bingo Bonanza art here. And I'm doing Bingo Bonanza, and we're just taking tips as people want to tip. You can play for free. There's no charge for it or anything like that. It really is it's more of a service. And I'm doing that every Monday and Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, and 5 o'clock on the West Coast. And you can just join us on Facebook Live, and then you can also play on your handheld device while you watch on Facebook Live. So it's really fun. So hopefully you'll join us Monday and Thursday.
Fantastic. Jaidynn, what about you? Or Soju.
Yeah. All my social media is Shop with Soju. Every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. I'm reviewing Drag Race episodes with my friend Chester Lockhart, who is an amazing entertainer. So yeah, that's Shot with Soju on YouTube, and all my social media is Shot with Soju, and I have a new song coming out on Friday, so make sure you guys check that out.
Are you going to sing it for us tonight?
What was that?
Are you going to sing it for us tonight?
Oh my God. I wasn't prepared to perform, but I will play it for you guys. I'll play you guys a little bit. I can't play you the whole song. I'll play you a little bit.
I was going to say, what's the gist of the song?
It's about, okay, so it's about sex, obviously. But like, that's like, you know, with being a Korean entertainer and being Asian American, like I feel like a lot of us are what's the word, like people don't see us as like sexual beings, like
desexualized. Yeah,
desexualized. So like it's my duty, and I've taken on this duty for myself. But like my goal is to just push the boundary and you know, keep pushing our representation for all of our Asian Americans out there. So this song is literally about sex and how much I love sex.
Wow.
That's where that cyst came from. Never mind.
Okay,
sorry about that. Jaidynn, what about you? Where can folks see you?
Well, actually, right after this, I will be going live on my Instagram live page and talking to the fans and doing video chats. With that, you can also catch me this Sunday with Flip Phone Events for the Tiger King Drag Brunch I don't know what I'm gonna do yet because the fabric stores are closed. So I'm gonna have to like find some scraps of fabric to make me something that's Tiger King-esque. We're gonna see how it turns out. But that's where you can catch me. And then I'm mainly focusing more on just live. So follow me on Instagram, and it is the hood spelling. It's JAIDYNN, fierce, and in that order. And that way you can see when I come live and talk to y'all. Sometimes, well, most of the time I'm gonna be a boy. I'm gonna be real, because it takes a lot to look like this. Okay, but
I hear you.
yeah, right after this, join me on my Instagram live so I can talk to you all.
We got some questions. I saw a question that went by. They wanted to ask Soju and Jaidynn. They wanted to ask each of you what Rue was like in person. But before you answer, Rue was a brunette when I met her. Okay, I used to see her at the World in the late '80s on Avenue C, I think it was, and we would see her. And honestly, she was, if you saw her, you got a, hi, baby. And it was just thrilling, even back then. And she was a brunette in those days. So anyway, that's my little 2 cents. What was your experience like dealing with Miss Rue?
My experience was I didn't really get that many experience, but the little experience I got with her was so professional. She was very professional. She, I think a lot of times when other girls are saying that she's cold or something like that during filming, it's just the nature of the entertainment industry. Like I've experienced it before, so I understood why she had to stop when she had to like not talk when we were not allowed to talk to her or anything like that. So, but every time she did interact with me, she was always welcome, and she knew my name. I don't know why people say that, like, she doesn't know the girls' names. Even during reunion, I was sitting right next to her, and every time we had to cut a break or she had to film a B-roll of her just talking to someone, she would always turn around and look at me and be like, God, that sis must hurt real bad. Like, just keep saying jokes about sis the whole time. I just had a really good experience every time I had. Any experience I had with her was really good.
I was gonna say, who would ever think that cyst would have worked out in your favor so much, where we actually, I mean, when you told me you were off the first episode, I couldn't believe it, because I was like, you made such a big impression that it was shocking when I went back and did the research, and I was like, first episode? Is that really how that went? It was like, oh yeah, but you did. You made a big impression in a short amount of time. Jaidynn, what was your experience like with Rue?
Well, it was the same experience on the show, but I've actually had 2 run-ins with RuPaul after the show. And they were both in LA. The first time was at the Emmy. It was like an Emmy party. I was supposed to, well, it was optional to be in drag. I showed up. I was staying with one of my friends, and I was locked out of his house. And I was like, well, I'm not getting in drag today, so I'm just going to go to the Emmy party just as a boy, whatever. RuPaul was standing in the middle. The queens, Mariah, and all the girls were like standing around her in a circle, and she kind of gave her speech. And after her speech was done, she's looking at everybody, and she literally walked straight up to me. And and it's true what Soju is saying. People say, oh, well, RuPaul doesn't know the girl's name. Now, granted, I don't even know everybody's names, and I watch every season, every episode. So one time I'm like, what's that queen name? It's no shade. It's just you forget things. But as for me, she literally, when she was done with her speech, she walked right up to me. She's like, oh, Jaidynn, how are you? And then she was like, and first of all, RuPaul, I get nervous around RuPaul. I don't know what it is, but I think, I idolize her, so I just get really nervous and jittery. And so she came up and she was like, how are you? And I was like, mind you, I'm not even in drag. And I was like, I'm good. Oh my God. So I'm like being nervous. And then she was just like, oh, so how's Nashville? That really threw me for a loop, because I was like, you even remember, like, it's been years after filming in my season. And she was like, how's Nashville? And I was like, I mean, it's good. So she was like, so when are you moving to LA? I said, well, I bought a home. I'm not moving to LA. She was like, why not? There's so much opportunity here. And I was like, well, honey, it's only a $300 flight, for most flights for me to get there. So I said, I'll be a 4-hour flight away anytime you need me. Wink. And so that was the first run-in. And then the last run-in I had was after the last season's reunion. So I missed the reunion taping, or not the reunion, but the finale. I missed the finale taping. I had a gig before, and I flew straight to LA. And I picked up my rental car at LAX, and I'm driving to the CVS pharmacy that's in it's like in West Hollywood by the Beverly Center. So I'm talking to my drag daughter on speakerphone, by the way, because my drag daughter, she's very in tune with like what really happened before it's seen. So she's just on speakerphone. Get out my rental car. I'm walking in CVS. Her on loud speakerphone, saying, "Oh, girl, honey, I heard this happened. It finished hours and hours ago." I'm walking in, and as I'm walking in, I feel a tap on my shoulder, and I turn around, and it was RuPaul. At a drag, she was in this dark blue full jumpsuit. Like it was just like a very comfortable jumpsuit, and I was like, oh, RuPaul, and she came behind me, so she didn't even have to speak to me or talk to me. She could have literally just like went her own direction in the CVS store, and because I didn't see her, and she was like, "Jaidynn, how are you?" And I was like, "Hi." And I got really awkward. I fan out with RuPaul. I got really, really awkward, and I was like, "Can I give you a hug?" And she was like, "Yeah, sure, Jaidynn." And so she gave me a hug, and I was just like, "Oh my God, like, how was everything?" She said, "Girl, I am tired." She said, "I've been in drag, like, I'm tired, whatever." And, so she went her way to whatever aisle. And yes, I was a creepo, I must admit. Like, as she was checking out, because she came in, got whatever she wanted to get. As she was checking out, I'm such a stalker. I was literally like in the aisle like this. I saw RuPaul. Snap. You just see her from the back, But yeah, like literally, I've had nothing but good experiences with RuPaul. And honestly, even though she scares the crap out of me because I just love her and adore her so much, but she's really a sweet person. And I know the rumors going around is, oh, well, she doesn't remember us and she doesn't, talk to us. Well, on set, she's not allowed to talk to certain queens because they don't want to show any type of favoritism. If she's talking to one queen more than another queen, then they might be like, oh, well, she's the favorite of the season. They just don't want to do that. So that's the real tea. At least that was my experience. I can't speak for anybody else, but that was my experience with RuPaul.
Now,
love her.
Jaidynn, if RuPaul scares the shit out of you, I want to ask Miss Richfield, do you scare the shit out of RuPaul, Miss Richfield?
I'm not sure RuPaul knows who I am.
Well, she should. The woman should know, I think. Everyone should definitely.
Yeah, you know what? I worked with him on one event in Minneapolis with Boy George, and it was a bunch of people. It was really fun. But it was such a conundrum, we didn't really get a chance to meet. So I didn't really get a chance to say hello. But he was fabulous. He did a wonderful job. But I hosted it, but it was just coming and going, so we didn't get a chance to really talk. But he was very professional, very nice.
Well, cool. Yeah, one other question, I think, before we get to your numbers. Someone asked, they said, what mark do you hope to leave on the art form of drag?
Oh, who's going first?
I was going to say, I'm just waiting for something. Oh, okay.
Probably
I'll answer first. I'll
a big
answer
brown
first.
one. Depends on what side of my face they hit.
This is the mark I'm hoping to make. Drag coming through the big wigs of show business. And there, I'll do my my look for you.
Which you can order on Amazon.com right now.
Yes, Amazon.com. You can totally order it. So that's the mark I want to leave. Soju, what about, there you go. Look at Miss Richfield. Gorgeous. Oh, you look so pretty, Miss Richfield. Thank you. Oh, do it again. Do it again. They weren't getting to see you. Do it. There you go.
Oh, hang on.
Oh,
I got to get it right.
Book face. We love it. It's book face on Facebook Live. Soju, what mark do you want to leave?
I just want to continue inspiring and supporting and hopefully, like watching me more Asian American queens can come out. And I know most of us are not out to our families. So just keep doing what I'm doing. I know that when I sell kimchi, when I sell Manila Luzon, that inspired me to, be like, oh wait, I can do this too. So that's kind of like what I want to do with my drag. You know, just keep pushing the representation, spreading it, and you know, spreading love and positivity, and then keep doing my music because I feel that's where my passion's at.
What's the name of the song we're getting on Friday?
Bang.
Oh.
You do like sex. Good for you. Okay.
The lyrics? You wait until you hear the lyrics.
Well, we're going to get a preview, I hope. Now,
Yes.
That's the one bang, huh? Not bang bang.
Oh, no, it's bang, bang, bang. But, you know, the title's bang. But the chorus is bang. Yeah.
If you do it once after a certain age, once is plenty.
Right.
So, Jaidynn, what mark do you want to leave on the world of drag?
I want to leave a mark and a legacy whenever I retire in 130 years. I want to leave a legacy of a sense of feeling good, body positivity, being very lighthearted, fun, and just enjoying life. Because I feel like life is way too short. No matter what you're going through in life, I always try to look at the bright side. People ask me all the time, oh, why are you so happy all the time? Well, I'm not happy all the time, but I tend to focus my life on positive things. It's not where I've been, but it's where I'm going to. And in my drag, one thing that's very important to me is just making people feel better about themselves. As a plus size woman, as a plus size drag queen, I have a lot of plus size fans, but I also have a lot of skinny fans as well. And I inspire them because for me to get up on stage and be confident and, you know, as I like to say, work my puss. Just by me doing that, I'm inspiring other people because they're like, wow, this big girl who could be shamed for being fat, you know, is literally getting up here, you know, doing her thing. So why can't I? Why can't I wear that? Why can't I do that? And that's my whole brand is, you know, just saying, hey, it doesn't matter what color you are, where you're from, you know, what you've been through, your sexuality, gender, race, color, none of that matters. What matters is to be your true, authentic self and live the happiest life that you could possibly live. And that's kind of like what I want to leave on the world is this person who is choosing that path to be happy with myself. And also to inspire other people, say, hey, if I can do it, you can do it too. And that's my word for the day.
Perfect. Miss Richfield, let me ask you the same question. That wasn't my question, it was one of our viewers. What is your goal in leaving a mark on the art of drag?
Well, I have to say, just to repeat everything that's been said, the girls have just done such an excellent job of expressing what's in my heart too, just to bring joy and happiness. And I think acceptance, I heard that too, acceptance for who we are and building bridges. It seems like drag today, the art form has reached a whole new level of public acceptance and appreciation. And I love that because years and years ago, it was hidden away in bars. And Frank, you remember this?
Oh, I remember.
Like, you know, and it was hidden away. And now, and you know, when I first started in P-Town, in 2003, I started in P-Town. This will be my 18th season. You know, it was really wonderful. That was my first experience of seeing little kids and, you know, families, and they would come up and talk to you because we have to be out on the street handing out your cards to get people to come to your show. And so I'm outside, and I just remember then realizing and feeling sort of a heavy responsibility that we all have, those of us in the entertainment world, to be good examples. And we're not always good examples, but to be as best example as you can of love and acceptance. And I think it was RuPaul that said, you know, we're all born naked and it's drag after that. And, you know, no matter whether you put on a business suit, you go to an office, or you put on a custodian suit and you pick up a broom, it doesn't matter what it is. We all have our own jobs to do. And I hope that I can help spread some of that too. And along with that, that I can represent longevity. you know, I've been doing it for 18 years, well, more than 18 years, but I've been doing it for years, and I hope to do it for years more to come. And with a certain situation, I think they're going to be wheeling me out in a wheelchair in another, you know, 10 years, but I'm still going to be doing it. I'm still going to be out there and hopefully spreading joy and all the things that the other two gals mentioned. There were beautiful answers that I couldn't agree with more.
Well, speaking of doing it, Soju, can we get a little preview of that song? Do you have it for us?
Yeah.
I can play it on my phone. I'll play you the first verse and the chorus. Hold on a second.
Okay. Oops.
Can you hear it?
No.
Can you hear it?
No, we started to hear it.
So that's it. That's how it kind of goes, and then it just builds up, and then it gets really crazy. You guys will have to stream it on Friday to hear the full song.
Okay, fantastic. We'll do that. Now, Jaidynn, are you going to? Oh, wait. Before I say that, if you want to show some love for Soju, there you go. You can.
Sorry,
that's how you do it.
I didn't know we're doing numbers, so I didn't prepare one.
Okay, coming up next, Jaidynn, I really want to, I can't wait to find out what you're going to do. But I'm going to hold this up first, okay, so that people know how to, at Jaidynn Fierce. Okay, so you're going to do a number for us?
Yes. Am I doing the entire number? I mean, it's kind of like a long.
You do what you want.
It's 4 minutes. Okay, I'm going to give y'all a little preview. Because I ain't got enough room here in my drag lab to, like, really turn it. But I'm going to give you a little sample of what I like to do in this look. Y'all know this song. Can y'all hear that?
You should have, but I can't hear a word you say. They talking loud, not saying much. I'm criticized, how I wouldn't sleep for the sun. Shouldn't have done, but I can tell. Nothing to lose, far away. Ricochet, you take the rest, far away. As you would have further to fall, it goes down into love. There's a voice, six and stone, in my bones. Shout it out, and sing. Nothing to lose, far away, far away.
Okay, that's a good sample. Is that enough?
Yay! Fantastic.
Yes.
There you go.
The sound, we should make sure that you're
Send a
sharing the
little
sound.
love via Venmo to Jaidynn Fierce. There you go. Okay.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your tips and things. I'm obese, so I'm out of breath. I need some air.
I like that you're not only performing titanium, you're wearing it too.
I know, thanks. This whole thing, child, I made it for Halloween.
Miss Richfield, what have you got in store for us?
Well, you know, I was going to do a number. I'm having a hard time hearing the music. Are you?
I don't know if the audience is. I did have trouble, yeah.
Yeah, that's you need to make sure that your computer is sharing, if you're playing the music from your computer, that it's sharing the audio. It's a function.
Well, I think I might try something else for the moment. We're all good at this, right? We're all good at just doing something at the last minute. So let me, I might do mine Acapulco, which is Mexican for I can't afford an orchestra. Whoops, hang on, I gotta put my phone back up. There we go. Let me get organized here and see if I can do this, because I'd like to play my musical Saw.
Oh, good, you're not wearing pants either.
Can you see me? Yeah. Is it down far enough? Oh, it's still not down far. Hang on a minute, I gotta get, oh, here, I'll put it on a TV tray. Here we go. Gotta get the, here we go. This'll work. Here we go. This is gonna work better. There we go, I think anyway. Can you see me now?
Gorgeous.
I just gotta go down a little bit on the front legs here.
You wouldn't
there
dare.
We go. There we go. Now I've got it. I'm gonna do, oh jeez, I can't. Hang on, no, but don't hang up. Don't hang up. Hang up. All right, is it? Maybe I'll just get closer. All right, I guess that's what it's gonna be. I'm gonna play the musical Saw. How's that? I was gonna do a different number, but I'm having a hard time hearing the music, so I think I'm just gonna play the musical Saw, which is just a regular saw, as you can see here, but it's it actually had teeth on it. I had to plane the teeth off of it, but I think I'm gonna play this, and just tell me if you can't hear it. But I'm just gonna see how we do here and give it a try. And play one of my favorite numbers. I just love this number. So, with no further ado. Oh, hang on, I'm in the wrong key. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. If happy little bluebirds fly beyond that rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Bravo!
Yeah.
Let's show some love for Miss Richfield. There you go. Okay. That's how you do that. And if you'd like, so if you'd like to show some love for the Tin Man, you can do that there. And Dorothy Gale, you can do that with Soju. For me, the Cowardly Lion at Nicholas. Okay, so so this is the book, Drag Combing Through the Big Wigs of Show Business. You can get it on Amazon. And it's a lovely write-up on Miss Richfield. And she's holding my book. And and I think you'll love a lot. There's a lot about drag race and the girls on there. I want to thank you all so much for our initial outing. Soju, thank you so much. Jaidynn, you're fierce, you're glamorous and gorgeous. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, my love.
Thank you.
Miss Richfield, 1981, I love you to pieces, lady. I really do. And I want to thank everybody who made this possible, everyone at Flip Phone, Chad Campy, and the whole gang, and all of you out there. Honestly, keep your chins up, all of them, and definitely find, what does Mr. Rogers say? Find the helpers. They probably are in drag, so find them and support them and love them, and any chance you can to brighten someone's day, please definitely do that at this crazy time. And thank you to all of you for making this initial outing. Sorry about the word outing. Oh, geez. Anyway, but making this go so well. Next week, I'm going to talk to Nina West, Ginger Minge, and Lucy Stool here on Big Wig Live, so definitely check that out. We're also going to be doing a Golden Girls panel next Thursday, which you'll hear about. We'll tell you more next week. But thank you to all of you. Support your local drag queens and support drag in general. And follow all of us on social media. I'm at Frank DeCaro Show, and you certainly can find everyone else on there. And we love you a lot. And once more, I'm going to hold these up because tough out there for a journalist, and let's see, and a pop star, and a gorgeous tin woman.
Woo!
And drag royalty, Miss Richfield. It's tough. Got to keep that woman in sashes. So definitely anyway, and do that. And thanks to everyone at Flip Phone for making this happen. And I guess we'll see you next week. And follow us on all platforms of social media. And we love you a lot. And I made a vagina. Oh wait, that's not what it is. I know nothing about this. Anyway, thank you all. Love you all the way around.
Bye.
Bye, America.
Bye.
Nice to meet you.
Bye, y'all. Thank y'all for coming.
Hang in there, everybody.
Bye.